Okay, now that we've heard the entire piece, let's just talk about some basic timpani audition considerations. Number one is tuning. I always tune with a tuning fork tuned to A, simply because it's the most reliable thing you can use, and it's also quiet. If you use a pitch pipe, for instance, it's going to make noise. It's not as reliable. If you use a mallet instrument in the room, the tuning could be out of whack and it could be unreliable. Also, you don't know if there's going to be a mallet instrument in the room. You could be in a science room with the timpani in there, who knows. So I always use a tuning fork, and it's pitched to A. So for this etude, I start with the lowest drum, which is my general idea for tuning. If this is A, I just listen to it and I walk down like Mary Had a Little Lamb. So if I listen to it, I go, let's just hear it. My singing is not great, but if I get that bottom pitch every single time, I can work my way up. So once I tune up this F by going do, 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 I have this low pitch. I can tune up the B flat, Here Comes the Bride. And then the other two pitches are basically, if you want to use a song to remember it, it could be taps, like the trumpet would play at a funeral. If you tune up taps, that can work. Some other people might start with a B flat. With the tuning fork, you would just have to hum up the theme to Jaws, because if this is an A, B flat is going to be a half step up. And then you can tune from using that B flat. My general idea for tuning is to make sure it's right. So whatever method you use, start at the low drum, start at the B flat, make sure that you spend enough time to make sure it's accurate. So even if you're nervous, take a couple extra deep breaths at the audition and make sure your tuning is right. Because if it's wrong, it's going to be distracting for the entire piece. A couple of last ideas about tuning. Go ahead and I usually put a finger or two in the middle of the drum head to take away some of the harmonics, and I usually will tap with the mallet I'm using. Even though this is going to be a little bit noisy, it's okay because it's an audition, and it might even be good because the audition committee will see that you're taking your time and you're tuning up accurately. So those are the basic ideas for tuning. With your posture, it's going to be a personal thing. I'm a little bit taller, so I like to use a stool. This helps me keep at a comfortable level around the drums. If you stand up, that's fine too. Just make sure you do whatever is most comfortable and will allow you to play your best. When I sit on a stool, this one's a little bit lower, and so I'm sitting on it a bit more flatly, but I will keep my feet on the middle two drums pedals, simply for balance, and also if I need to make a small tuning adjustment during the piece, I can do that. That's also great for an audition because you're not going to be familiar with the drums necessarily. So if you need to make an on-the-fly tuning adjustment, you can do that. Drum positioning is pretty simple. For me, I like to be able to rotate my torso and have my mallets automatically pointing at my playing area. I don't want to have to turn my body and then do something goofy with my arms in order to get my sticks in the proper playing area. So if I can simply turn my torso and hit that playing spot every time, that's going to be a good starting point for where you're setting up. So when you walk in the room, spend some time setting up your stool, setting up the drums so they're comfortably positioned, and take your time tuning. At an audition, you might have a little bit of adrenaline, a little bit of nerves going. Take a deep breath and take an extra moment or two for everything you do so you'll be all set up and ready to go. The last general consideration for this etude would be what type of timpani mallets or sticks you're going to use. These are Duff 3s, which are cartwheel, and they have a wood core. This is useful because there are a couple rolls in this piece that you're going to have to deal with, and you have to play at different dynamic levels with clear articulation. That's why I like the wood core and the cartwheel shape. But any sort of general purpose, or maybe on the slightly more firm side of general purpose sticks, are going to get you through this etude no problem. So these are our general considerations for any sort of timpani audition. What we're going to do is we'll break this piece into 3 shorter sections and tackle each of the individual issues within those next.